Welcome back, everybody, to another one of these ActOnThis.tv member spotlight sessions where I'm literally throwing the spotlight on members of ActOnThis.tv who are crushing it right now. This is a really different one because technically it's a member spotlight, but it's a bit different because Petch, you're going to introduce yourself in a second, is, as you will know, the community manager for ActOnThis.tv. He's basically an employee to a certain degree. I think for tax purposes, you're a freelancer, Petch, but you are effectively a big part of this community. For those people who are like, who's Petch? Maybe they've just seen you in the Facebook group or you've replied to their comments if they're members of ActOnThis.tv in our forums and stuff like that. Who are you, Petch? Why are you here? Who are you?
Why am I here? Good question. I'm an actor, first and foremost, and I met Ross way back when he was doing a group for surviving actors. You were doing I was doing a networking group. This was an exhibition, wasn't it? Yeah. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when I first started Act on This. So I'd just come back from being on tour doing TIE, which is Theatre in Education for people who don't know what TIE is. And a friend of mine who I was on tour with said, "Oh, Surviving Actors is going on in Manchester. Do you fancy going down?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Let's check it out." And bumped into Ross Grant and Sid Ali Akbar. And who else was it? Was it your brother?
Sid Akbar Ali. He was a member at on this.
Sid Akbar Ali. Yeah. And was it your brother as well that was doing it?
No.
Liam.
You think it was Liam?
Liam, that was it. And you ran this competition for us to tweet a picture of the exhibition going on in progress, and whoever you would draw a winner, which you forgot to do. And I went and chatted to you in the bar, well, the coffee canteen area afterwards. And I told you about the tweet that I'd gone, and you were like, "All right, you win it." So I got a year's free membership there.
Is that what happened?
That's what happened.
I don't even remember that. I went, "Oh God, I forgot to do the draw." Right, well, you can just win it then.
You can have it, yeah. You can have it.
Oh my God.
I got that, and then I'd started come down to the meetups when he used to do them at the Corner House.
Yep.
And I met Eric, James Dean, rest in peace, and a lot of the other community
members. Yeah.
It was really small community at the time, though, wasn't it? There was hardly anybody that turned up to them.
It's like, honestly, some weeks it'd be me and Eric, bless him. Literally, we'd do these meetups, guys, for members of the community, and these were in person. Everything's kind of been on Zoom recently, but yeah, we'd sometimes sit there, and like it would start at 11. It gets to 11:30, and we're going, "Eric, do you think anybody's coming?" It'd just be like me and him having a brew. Things are a little bit different 11 years later.
A little bit different now, but yeah. So that's how I started with Act on This. I went away on tour again, and some personal relationship issues happened, and you were doing Bulletproof Actor at the time,
which is another tell people. Well, we won't get too much into this, but basically, Bulletproof Actor is a mindset program that I do for actors. Probably going to launch it again later this year. As I record this, it's 2021. We will probably get to that, but we're going to talk about another program that Petch did recently that I really want to talk about today is the main thing. But yeah, Bulletproof Actor is a mindset program if actors want to sort of really get their mental game together to tackle this industry, because I see many actors defeating themselves, and it's mostly just them getting in their own way. Bulletproofactor.com for that. So you went through that. You brought me to Manchester. I started doing the news articles for you for £5 a pop. And then one day you asked to meet me at home theatre, and you said, "How about we do a vlog?" I said, "I've never done one before." You went, "Neither have I. Here's a camera." So then we started doing Watch Ross. And a couple of years later, here I am working full-time for you. It's mental, isn't it? 10 years. He rocks up. He gets a free membership for a year. 10, 11 years later, he's working. So this is interesting. You started working like properly for Acts on This about, 13, 14 months ago, something like that. And I remember because you've done like loads of theatre. Petcher's done like loads of theatre over the years. I've been to see you in shows and stuff like that. You did all this live stuff as well. Like he would do all these like live dinner events.
Manuel
out of Faulty Towers, all this sort of stuff. But you had a bit of a hang up going, right, well, if I'm working for Acts on This, and this is all about kind of like TV, I feel like, if I'm not working on TV, then it's, and this is what I say as well. If I'm running a community about getting work on TV and I'm not working on TV regularly myself, then it's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? And you were like, right, well, I really need to start working in TV. So last year, I put together, and you probably won't know this even happened, guys. I put together a program called First TV Role Fast Track. I was like, me and Petcher were talking. I was like, I know I can help people get their first TV roles, but I want like a test group to go through this initially. So we put it out there, and I think roughly 100 actors went through this. Like, it was, we shot it on Zoom over a weekend. I took people through a 10-hour training, all about like literally start to finish how you go about getting your first TV role. Loads of people who went through that have started seeing results from it. Lots of people have started getting auditions for a lot of serial drama. Shout out to people like Joe and Lawrence who have got their first TV role now. And Petch, you've just achieved that as well. You are literally days away from going and filming your first TV role on, in my opinion, the nation's favourite soap. A lot of first TV role fast track is about targeting serial drama. They're generally where people, get their first TV role. So that's really what we want to talk about on this, basically. Your experience of that. And then I want to go through, obviously we're not going to be able to cover everything that's in this program, but I'm going to launch it again. Now it's proven. Now so many people have been through it, landed great auditions, booking their first TV jobs. We had multiple people just this week. There was Lena in the program as well. She just got her first TV job this week. Multiple people, like, quite rapidly have in recent times have started landing more and more work. So we're going to kind of go through from the beginning, really, to give people some kind of like tips and tricks on how you did this. And then I know you've kind of got questions on like what it's like on the first day of set and all that sort of stuff. And we've been looking at your scripts, and you've been saying, what's this mean and what does that mean? So we're just gonna have a chat. I'm just looking at my notes here. I've got like loads of bullet points to go through, but we'll start off with, I guess, is that true? You were like, God, like, I better get a TV job if I'm going to be involved with it.
Yeah, part of me felt like I'm a bit of a fraud. Like, how can I give advice to people on them getting a TV role if I haven't had my first one? Even though that I've been a member of Act on this for years, as I said at the beginning of this, and I've been on practically every live call that you've done. I've listened to when it was podcasts way back when. And when we were doing the vlog and we could meet the guests. So, I've been there and I've been taking in all the information. And it's like... This
is what's interesting, though, because you have had access to all that. So I want you to be dead honest and completely vulnerable with yourself. You have had the same access to information that other people have had access to within the membership and have implemented and used and gone on to get stuff. Why do you think it wasn't, like, were you implementing it all? Why do you think it wasn't working? Why do you think you were like, because as soon as we actually went, right, here's an actual formula to do it, you've done it now in, what was it? October, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months after going, right, now I actually have a plan, less than a year, you've done it. Why all of those other years do you think it wasn't working out for you? Were you really implementing it? Did you really believe in yourself? Were you really taking enough action? What were you doing?
I think I did this thing where I'd believe in myself for a short space of time, and then implement the things that I'd learned, go all in, and then not see any results, and then be like, it's not for me, is it? It's not going to work. And then fall back on my laurels and then start complaining that it's not working. And then it is that success cycle that you preach about. Like, when you don't start seeing results straight away, I went back the other way and I was like, okay, so it's not working. It's never going to work. So then I'd sit back and then I'd like collect things. I'd collect classes. I'd collect the podcast. I'd collect the interviews and like, right, I know it in theory, but it's not going to work for me. And until you broke it down step by step and there was like a blueprint to follow, like, I'm the guy who goes to IKEA and buys the flat pack and I have to follow the instructions. If there's a set of instructions there, I'm all right.
Oh, I'm all about that. I'm all about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But because there wasn't a set of instructions to speak before you did first TV role fast track, I was just trying to do a bit of everything and nothing was gelling. And because I was doing everything and not focusing on like a particular thing going forward, it just all fall to crap, really.
Yeah. So let's go through some of the steps. I mean, as I say, we cover far more in depth in the program. But let's cover like some of the things you were doing and maybe a little bit of how you were doing them differently this time, and then how that led to results. Because we get really focused in First TV or Fast Track on casting type of exactly where you fit in the industry, as opposed to actors just, God, like shooting showreel material that is so against what they're going to be seen for when they're first starting out in the industry. Emails, putting them yourself out there, letting cast directors know you exist. A lot of actors just get email completely wrong. They don't know how to write an email that's actually succinct and like precise and helpful and solving a solution for a casting director, as opposed to just splurging out all this stuff on the page to basically go, please help me. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing and I need you to save me. I mean, that's literally like what people do. Let's just go over like a few of the things that you started doing and you started seeing results early on, without giving obviously all of the course away, because I want people to come and do it.
So the first thing for me was being super specific on my casting type.
Yeah.
I knew becoming an actor, where I saw myself in the industry as a whole. I know I'm not the tall, good-looking leading man. I would never play Romeo, for example, but I knew I'd be the sidekick, the cheeky chappy, the happy-go-lucky guy. And in theatre, I kind of nailed that. Like, that was always my role.
That was always what I saw you in. But every time you were in something, that was you, yeah.
And then it's like, how do I convert that to TV? And I remember way back when, I did a class and I always compared myself to Tyrone on Coronation Street. Like, that's the kind of role.
Alan Halsell, yeah, great character.
I can see myself being that. And I was like, but chances are I'm not going to go in and land a lead, regular, recurring role like that straight away. So what is my way in? And it wasn't until you broke it down about day players and seeing that as a way in for your first role, I was like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, because somebody has to play those roles, right?
It's the only way. Well, it's not the only way in, but this is what I mean, folks. Like, you are missing so much work in the industry when you're first starting out if you are not actually looking. I mean, just watching serial drama and seeing those roles and those types of characters that are coming into 1 episode, 2 episodes. They have the 1 scene, the 2 scenes, et cetera, that are being cast every single week. So many actors are like, I just want to be in Line of Duty because it's the biggest show in the world. Well, not in the world, but, biggest show in the UK. I think it has literally, the last season has got the highest viewing figures like ever. I think Jed Mercurio.
Over 12 million, isn't it?
It's crazy. I think Jed Mercurio has like Line of Duty number 1. I think the Bodyguard I think was number 2. I think that, both written by him. They're like the biggest shows that this country's ever seen. And then actors are like, well, I want to be there. I want to be, Martin Compston and Vicky McClure. Well, you know what? Like, let's start looking at this. This. My internet went a bit weird there. Am I still okay, Petch? You still got me, yeah? Oh, hang on. It maybe I can hear you.
I can't see you now. Oh no, no, you're back.
I'm back. Okay. People want to be the want to be those 2 characters. It's like, no, stop looking at like these 25-year kind of careers and where these people are now. Let's just start looking at the next 25 days or 25 months. Like, you're starting from scratch. Come on, let's be realistic. And there are so many incredible roles that are the day player roles where, they are the policemen, the paramedics, the journalists, the receptionists, the barmen, the delivery drivers, the doctors, the nurses. And you can have some really, I've played so many of those roles. You have some really lovely little storylines for an episode or 2. And people are just missing out on those. Why do you think why weren't you aware of that? Or do you think you were just thinking that I just want to kind of skip steps or whatever?
I think I had it in my head that they were extras, just talking extras. Like,
oh right, no,
whoever turned up on the set was like, all right, yeah, you can do that. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what I had it in my head. Like walk on 3s. I wasn't aware of the difference between a walk on 3 and a day player.
I think a walk on 3, for those who don't know this, so there's, in terms of background work, there's different categories. Walk on 1, where you're literally just a member of the background. Walk on 2, where you're a featured member of the background, where we sort of like, you have a thing to do. Maybe you put a glass down on a table or whatever. And then we have a walk on 3, where you're featured and you get to speak. But I think, and I don't know this for sure, so don't quote me, back in the day, many, many years ago, like 20 years ago, when I used to do this, someone on set told me, the first AD when I did a walk on 3, said you can have, I think, 13 words, no more than 13 words as a walk on 3. So we had to actually count out what I was going to say in an episode of Hollyoaks back in the day. I don't know if that's still the case today, but yeah, anything past that is cast. And all the day player roles that I talk about and that we focus on in First TV or Fast Track are fully cast, auditioned roles, where you will be up against other quality actors, even for these small roles. They're absolutely not extra work, and they're very well paid as well. You'll get hundreds of pounds for doing these roles. So that was the first thing. Nail it, sort of like getting more specific about your casting type and where you fit in.
I'm finding that like where I saw the cheeky chappy go into the day player role. So I know you've talked about showreels recently and people filming the wrong kind of scenes. One of my favorite scenes on my showreel is the robot scene. And if people haven't seen it, I play this sick, twisted, sinister kind of guy. And I play it really well. And you said this to me on my headshots, is like, that isn't you now. Like, that's you in a still. And yeah, you can play that further on in your career. But right now, knowing Petch is this happy, smiley, just friendly guy. So why try and be anything other than that? And it wasn't until I broke down what I could do at day player roles, then I started to get laser focused in on that.
Yeah. So once you'd figured that out, and that's a really good point. It's not saying that you can't do those other roles. You could play that creepy, sinister guy that you play in in that showreel scene. I've seen it. It's a great scene. But when you've not had your first TV role yet, it's not that useful for casting directors looking to find new faces who they can trust with the smaller roles. They want to see you playing things that are much more aligned to that. If you sell them a super creepy scene like that, and they go, well, actually, I'm looking for a hospital porter in the pediatric ward of this hospital. You being Petch, super, smiley, fun, friendly guy, perfect for the porter role. But if you send Jenny Radcliffe at Corrie, the creepy guy who's trying to program a robot for sex, you go, well, actually, this isn't sort of like, what doesn't sort of add up, this, does it? No. And your headshot doesn't say that either. Your headshot's super smiley and nice and warm and friendly. So yeah, it was about going, right, well, what can we shoot that is you, being seen in that kind of vein, to then put in front of these people, so you are way more castable. So what did you do on that score?
So I had a chat with you, obviously, and I broke down all the day player roles I could think of on the top of my head, and I was like, well, where do I see myself? Now, being of a smaller height and just me genuinely, I knew I wasn't going to be authoritarian. So I knew that the policemen and the detectives and things like that just weren't going to be right for me. I could be like the young copper on the beat, but again, day player roles, you don't really get that. You get someone coming in, delivering the line and going. So I was like, well, where do I see myself? And like you said there, porter, friendly male nurse, just somebody who is just a likable character and is there to make somebody feel at ease. And so I made a list of all them, got in touch with some actor friends that I know, and I was like, can we shoot a showreel scene of me doing this role? Got in touch with another actor on this member, Leah, and she wanted a authoritarian doctor role. And I was like, well, that's perfect. You need to be a doctor. I need to be a nurse. We can have a conversation between ourselves. Yeah. We went to someone, we got a script, wrote for us, all ready to film, and then unfortunately COVID hit. But a bit of time passed and I was like, well, why am I not just doing this as a self-tape for now?
Exactly.
So I went out, I went on Amazon, bought Scrubs.
Not the DVD, some actual Scrubs.
Bought some actual Scrubs, bought a little watch. I think I spent too much money. To be fair though, it's dirt cheap. Like Scrubs on Amazon are like a tenner, if that.
Yeah, you didn't spend too much money, Petch.
No.
Look now, you've definitely got a return on your investment. So
exactly.
so you got this stuff, and then what you decided you weren't going to bullshit yourself about COVID and say, oh, I can't do it now. You went, right, no, what can I do? I'm going to shoot this scene that I wanted to do in this day player role as a self tape. Yeah, and that's what
as a self tape. Yeah, exactly. Took about 3 takes of it, chose the best one, and my first round of emails was targeting the people who I know would be looking for nurses. So Coronation Street, Emmerdale, Hollyoaks, doctors, Holby City. I stayed away from EastEnders at first because, again, COVID, traveling and things like that. But again, having that super specific casting type here with the nurse and knowing who would be looking for potentially a male nurse somewhere down the line, just sent the emails out to them.
Yeah, nice. And what were the responses? Because had you got responses in the past? I know you did with this. And again, we haven't got time to go into all of the email strategy. That is something that we we go into like a lot of depth in the program. But you got some really lovely responses, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I think I found a way in as well. So at the time, I just got engaged to Emma, and I kind of used that as a, hey, just wanted to let you know, got engaged, looking for some acting work to pay towards the wedding funds. If you need a nurse, here's a scene, here's my spotlight. And, you know, I did all the things that you suggested as well, with the tracking and the clickable links. And that really changed the game for me as well, selling the click rather than like writing a whole diatribe. And yeah, I did. I got some lovely responses. One from Jenny Radcliffe saying, all our breakdowns go to your agent anyway. Hopefully we can get you in and like Corey add to the wedding fund. I was like, nice.
Yeah, well, that's happened.
That's happened. Cheers, Jenny.
Exactly. So I think next thing on the list, probably, yeah, I mean, we've been through kind of like, you know, you didn't use COVID as an excuse. You still shot the tapes. You sent the tapes out to all the relevant people. We tell you exactly who all the relevant people are in the program. You even get lists and spreadsheets of all of the names and everything like that. And then, you get a email from Sophie, who is the casting associate, I think. I don't know who's the casting assistant or associates at Jenny's right now at ITV.
It's Kate and Sophie, isn't there?
Kate and Sophie. I don't know if they're both associates or what, but yeah, you get an email forwarded from your agent Kate, from Sophie, saying that they would like you to self-tape for, don't know if we can, a day player role. Should we?
A day player role, yeah.
Just a day player role. We won't say what it is yet. You can see Petch on TV. I will update you all when it actually airs. But you get this and you're like, holy shit, wait a minute, this has worked. Right, I've now got an opportunity. For anybody who's sort of like going to be in that position or gets that email where you're like, right, now this is kind of like come to fruition. The pressure is on. I've got an opportunity to get what I want. What was going through your head at that point? And then how were you going to make sure you delivered a great audition, which obviously did because you've gone on to land the role. But what was going through your head initially?
Initially it was, I mean, shock comes straight away. Like, I can't believe that this has actually happened. You know, I'd said to myself, because of things that were going on in my life, I was like, look, it's been 11 years since I've been starting the whole professional career. If I don't hit my first paid TV credit by the end of this year, I'm thinking of just packing it in. I think I even said that to you. I was like, that's it. Cancelling my spotlight, game over.
It was never going to happen, Petch. It was never going to happen.
Then this came through and it was like relief. Like, this is exactly what I wanted. So there was excitement. And yeah, nerves do kick in. It's like, I've got a chance now to like not mess this up. And I just did. I tell you what I did. I went back and I watched I think it was Andy Morgan's podcast again, about how he tells you just how to prepare for a role and all the...
Boom, we're back a little bit. It's had a little bit of an internet glitch there. You were saying, Petch, that, yeah, you went back and you listened to or rewatched Andy Morgan's feature on Acts on This. Andy Morgan's a great casting director I had on for members of actsonthis.tv recently doing a mastermind session with us. So you went back and watched that. What was in that you went back and watched?
It was all the stuff around self-tapes. He gives some brilliant advice about how, you know, you've got to prepare. He was saying about one of the auditions that he had when he brought people in, and he was asking, like, does your character have kids? And it was all to do with a copper and paedophile and how that might relate and things like that. And I was like, I need to go and do that with my character. Okay, it's just one day player. And at the time I was auditioning for 4-day players because it could have been any one of them.
Yeah.
So I had to make this whole backstory fit all 4 of them. And I spent a lot of time just going through and not just learning the lines like that. That was key. I had to learn the lines back to front and off the top of my head so I could just say them in my sleep. But doing the groundwork as well. And then not only that, I watched Mickey Jones because he was the director on this block who asked me to come in and audition. And I was like, well, I might as well play to Mickey and do what he wants. And he said in one of his that he likes somebody who brings a bit of a character to his auditions. Like he'll go, oh, throw in a bit of a love there, or
yeah. So we had,
and I was like,
exactly. I remember that chat. Another chat on Act on This with Mickey Jones. Yeah, great serial drama director directing this block with Petch. Yeah, I remember that chat. We were sat at my kitchen table. That's in the members area on Act on This if anyone wants to go and watch it. But yeah, that was a great little shout from him, and good that you went back and did that.
Well, that's it. I was like, well, if I'm going to be auditioning for this guy, I might as well go back and relearn what this guy is looking for. And just all that information, like in my head now, I know, and I was going to ask you about this a bit later on, and I will do, but in my head now, I'm going, right, Aisha Bywater's talk about how to leverage your first day player role going forward. And it's like, I need to go and rewatch that. So I know once I've filmed it, like the 3-prong attack that she had. So just knowing that all that information is there on the website and the members area is fantastic. Yeah, I think that really did give me a boost forward.
Got it all
It made
covered.
me feel more, it made me feel more calm and relaxed, because it's like these two guys have said exactly what it is that they like from a self-tape audition or just an audition in general. So I'm going to just do that.
Yeah,
it's not like a cheat code, isn't it?
Not that complicated. We've got all the cheat codes. So I read in for the self-tape for you. And how many takes? Because you prepared it, you knew all the lines. How many takes do you reckon we did? It wasn't that many.
3 or 4. 3 or 4.
And that was because you'd done the back work. You'd done, you'd learned it. You did all the homework, and there was a lot of lines like this. As I say, Petch was auditioning for 4 roles. They were all the same kind of thing, but he could have been given any one of these 4 roles. So they wanted you to do the tape as all 4 of them, almost as in like in one run, in one scene. Yeah. So it was a lot of quite a lot of lines to get out.
And I made the decision as well, like, and I don't know if it was right or wrong. It must have been right, but I made the decision that all 4 was going to be the same. It's just going to be the same person. Like I could have got really into my head and gone, right, I'll do one like this, then to show a bit of range, I'll do one like this, and then to show a bit of diversity, I'll do it like this. But no,
I think it could have been a disaster. I think, one. What, this is me. This is what I bring to the role. Is it? Yeah. I think that was.
And again, like Andy Morgan says, we're looking for you. We're looking for you that brings like your version of this. Don't try and second guess what we're looking for. Just be you, and that's what I did.
That's what you did. Then what he did, he sent the tape off, and then he completely dissected everything that he'd done. I kept saying, Petch, you've got it. You've got this wrong. No, you have, mate. You nailed the audition. I kept saying, didn't I? I kept saying, but you've definitely got it. You definitely got it. And then days and days and days went by. And what was going through your head? I haven't got it. You went from being really happy to like, I could tell when I got a call with you, you were just proper pissed off and down.
I was like, it was because you were like, right, they'll tell you by Friday. It's like, okay, they'll tell me by Friday.
I forgot the bank holiday.
So they didn't tell me by Friday. And I was like, Ross, it's bank holiday. So maybe they'll tell me by Tuesday. They're like, yeah, they'll tell you by Tuesday. I didn't hear by Tuesday. I was like, right, okay, I've not got it. You keep telling me to forget about it and move on. So that's what I tried to do.
Like, you got it. I told you got it. I kept, even the morning you got it. I was like, Petch, you've got this. And you was like, oh no, if I've got it. I'm like, no, you definitely
I'm trying to forget about it. I just want to move on. So yeah, but I did. I watched the self-tape back, and you do dissect it, don't you? You're like, oh, what if I'd have done that? What if I'd have done this? Should I email Kate? Should I email Mickey? Should I email Jenny and just find out? I had Emma saying the same things, like, can you just email and ask? I'm like, no, I don't want to sound like I'm like over paranoid and pushy and things like that. And yeah, I really did get in my head about it all.
Then you get a call, and then what happens?
Yeah, I get a call from Kate, my agent, and she's like, I've just had a call from Jenny at ITV. I said, oh, okay. It's like, you've got it. I was like, what? Yeah, you've got it. And I couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe it. I thought I'd made a mistake. Up until receiving the scripts in the post, I expected Kate to phone me back and go, no, I've made a mistake. It's somebody else.
God. Right, you've definitely got to stop that.
It's somebody else.
Even when you're told you've got a part. No, I've definitely not got it. I mean, that's another level, man. I've just been told I've got the part, but no, I haven't got it. They're going to change their mind.
They're going to change their mind.
I see it though, mate. I see people talk themselves out of roles even when they're at the read-through for dramas. I'm like, why are you so nervous? I'm so nervous. Why? You've got the part. Like, you're not going to lose it at a read-through, really, unless you're like something's really gone wrong. So you get it. then let's have a look. You're days away from filming it now. So for those people who are like, right, what's this like? And then I'm hoping everybody watching this is going to be in this position. If you come and do first CBO Fast Track, I'll try my best to get you in this position. What's sort of like the stuff that's going through your head now? How are you getting prepared? What are you worried about? Or is there any questions you've got about things or things in the scripts or anything that you want to cover that you think would be helpful for other people?
So it's just amazing of how on the ball Coronation Street are. I have received multiple emails from various crew members, as first assistants, down through costume and makeup, all asking me different things and making me feel welcome. I've had people phone me and text me. I've had my scripts through. I thought I was in one episode. That was nice when I got 2 scripts through.
2 episodes.
I did not expect that at all. So yeah, it's been reassuring. Like, I was all in my head again. Like I said, like, have I really got this? And then when people start confirming to you that you've got the role,
when costume ring you up, they go, "Hi, there's not a lot of point in ringing me because I've not got this."
But no, it was fantastic. And they're just like, oh, just let us know if you've got any issues, if you're worried about anything. Do you know where you're coming? We need you here for this day. I got the call sheet through. Now, that was a bit of a minefield because I got an email, and I know that they film it in blocks.
Yeah.
But I think on my email, I got like 7 different PDFs.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, do I need to read all of these?
Each is a separate director's block though, yeah?
Yeah, so I got an email from the AD saying, oh, you just need to focus on this colour block. I was like, I don't know which colour block's which, but it was there in the email that highlighted it, that different colour. And that's a bit daunting at first when you see all the different numbers and all the different slang and just trying to figure out, like, working your way through that minefield. It isn't until you read it and you go, right, all I really need to focus on is this tiny little bit down here.
There's a lot of jargon on there that doesn't apply to you because it's the full scene order. So you're filming on a Friday, so you'll have literally on there all the other, scenes that are being filmed before you, after you, all the character names, the page numbers of the script, whether there's been amends done, pickup times, costume times, makeup times, all this sort of stuff. Loads of numbers and email addresses and phone numbers and everything. And you actually probably only need to focus on literally one line of the whole thing. Yeah.
I was like, oh, what am I doing? Oh, it's too much for me already.
Everyone should. It's a shame we can't share that, obviously, because it's sensitive information. But I think what I will do is that's something that when we do first CBO Fast Track again, I'll definitely put a module in there where we look at, and maybe me and you can do that, where we look at those steps that you go through, once you have landed a job, so that people aren't overwhelmed by that, because it is daunting when you first get that. Exactly.
I had the costume guy phone me. I didn't get his phone call, unfortunately, but he dropped me a text saying, oh, can I just get your measurements? So I sent him them over. And then the makeup department was really nice. It's like, sorry, all due to COVID at the moment, we won't be able to do your hair and makeup, but we'll leave a bag outside your dressing room. You go in. Is there anything?
Put the bag over your head.
That's what I said. She's like, is there anything that you need? Now, I've just had something under my eye, which I was like, it doesn't really matter, but if I can get that covered up, that'd be great. Absolutely fine with that. Then I got into my head, and I've not told you this until now. I was like, I'm vegan, and I strongly believe in that kind of stuff. So if they give me like a leather jacket to wear, I'm not going to want to wear it. If they're going to give me like makeup that's been tested on animals, I'm not going to want to do it. I was like, do I tell them? Am I being a pain if I tell them? Am I at that level where I can tell them? Or just, again, in my head. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to send them a nice message back. And I did. I sent them both a lovely text. I even called the makeup person by the wrong name, because in the script it's one person, but it was somebody else who got in touch with me and I completely forgot. But they were absolutely lovely. It's like, yeah, not a problem. We'll do our best for you. And I think that's really reassuring, knowing that I can go up to anyone on any level and just say, like, I'm having this issue, or this is something for me. Can you deal with it? And I think what happened was, when you were talking about your eye condition,
Yeah, yeah.
And how you didn't want to say anything at first. I was like, well, I'm not going to fall into that trap. Okay, it's a little bit late, but I can just say it. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah, no, I never used to. I used to always hide the fact that I've got dodgy eyes, and just try and literally sometimes stumble my way through things. And then if I actually the day where I went, listen, I'm going to need a beanbag on the floor because I need to feel this mark that I'm supposed to hit. I can't see it. They were like, yeah, sweet. And I'm like, oh, right, it's that easy then. I'm like, yeah, just whatever you need, mate. Like, oh, excellent. Thought you were going to sack me. So yeah, no, ask for what you want. Ask for what you need. I mean, it's a difference between, you're not being a diva, and saying, I want some blue M&Ms in my changing room. That's a belief. I've had it on sets where in the scripts it said that my character smoked, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm so against it. I take that. I won't even. Honestly, I've said if it'll lose me the job, I just can't do the job.
Yeah.
And they've been really nice and went, no, your character doesn't need to. He can just have a bottle of water outside. Like as if he's gone for some fresh air. Yeah. So yeah, because there are just boundaries for me on certain things that I believe so strongly in. And my health is one of them. I don't care about a TV job. I'm not going to damage my own health because for a part in a show. And likewise for you, if you have strong beliefs around veganism and stuff, I don't want to wear a leather belt or leather shoes or whatever, then I'm not going to do that. Then it's not like it's hard to get an alternative, is it?
No.
There's lots of options out there.
I did the stereotypical actor thing, which everyone's told me not to do, but it's my first time on TV, so I did it. I went through the script and found out where my lines were and just like, right, okay, that's how many lines I've got. And then, again, going back to all the podcasts and the interviews you've done, I read both scripts. I know I'm not speaking in one of the scripts, but I've been sent the script. So I did yesterday. I read both scripts a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, because in the second script, there was a piece of information that I needed to know in the first script. And I was like, I'm glad I did that now, because that's answered a question I was going to ask on set.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, I just took out all the references and things like that. I've done a bit of research on the upcoming storyline that can prepare me going forward into this role as well. So it's I'm really glad I did that. It's just, again, research and backstory, and the more prepared I am. I mean, I know the lines, I did them in the audition, but I'm going to keep going over them so I know I'm back to front, left to right, upside down. The more knowledge I have.
Upside down is hanging upside down on the set.
Can you say Spider-Man, don't forget. Spider-Man's going to do this.
Yeah. So, no, prep's really important, because you'll go, because what will happen is, I said this the other day when someone asked me what it's like the first day on set. You'll go on. This is what's going to happen: is you'll go there. You'll go into costume. You'll go into makeup. You'll be ready for like 1 o'clock. I think your call time on set something like 2:45, something like that. But you'll kind of like have that time between sort of 1 and 2:45, probably on your own, just to sort of sit around. You'll get in your head a lot of the time. You'll be up in your dressing room, walking up and down, saying your lines and all this sort of stuff, and you'll know it all fine. But then you'll get on set. You'll potentially see some famous people who you've grown up watching on the TV because it's Corrie. And then they'll go, right, guys, we're just going to do a line run if everyone just wants to be quiet for a second. And there's a lot of people on set, a lot of crew and stuff, and it all goes very, very quiet. And then you're like, oh, God, please don't let me screw this up. They can screw it up because they've got loads of lines. But if I only got a few, I can't get this wrong. And then if you're not careful, you get in your head, and you just go blank. So what will happen is you'll get your sides when you get there. You'll get these little A5 like slides, these not slides, sides, they call it,
sides,
which are just your pages of script. And don't be afraid to take them on set with you.
They're not giving us them. The script that they sent us is what we have to take due to COVID.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're probably not going to be mucking around with bits of paper and stuff then. Yeah, so yeah, don't be afraid to take that on set. Obviously, make sure that when you are on set, when you're not using it, what I've seen some people do is just put their script down on a table. Say it's in the bistro in Coronation Street, and just put the script on the side. It's like, don't put it anywhere where it can be seen in view. Like, put it like out of the way, or give it to makeup, give it to the first lady, let them put it in a bag well away, but somewhere where you can still access it if you need it. And if you need a line, just shout like line, because someone just can just check this line. Oh, hang on a minute, Petch. I think my internet's going a little bit weird. Just going to wait for it to come back. Hopefully it'll be back in a second, Petch. Why is it? Honestly, what is it on a Wednesday afternoon in Urmston that screws the mast up?
I don't know, because it's Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, Tuesday. Hang on. Boom, another little internet glitch there, but we're back. Yeah, so don't be afraid to take those, take your slides on set. And if you need to run the lines with somebody, just don't be afraid to ask, really. So that's all set, man. So you're filming Friday. When's it airing? Do you know when it comes out?
30th of June.
30th of June. So that's interesting because that's going to be, I think I'm going to launch the next intake of First TV Roll Fast Track in June, and then it's going to be in July 2021. So yeah, if you're watching this miles down the line, though, drop me an email. I might be running it again, ross@actonthis.tv. If you're watching this 2 years down the line, you've just stumbled across it, and Petch is now a mega Hollywood star. People like we're talking about his first job. So what's next then? When this comes out, what are your plans to keep this momentum going, Petch? And what would you say to anybody who is in the position you were in before this, where you were like, if I don't get a job by the end of the year, I'm calling it a day, I'm quitting?
So my plan going forward on this is, like I said earlier, is I'm going to rewatch that Aisha Bywater's interview, because she set out a three-pronged attack, which in my head, I vaguely know. It's tell them once you've filmed, tell them it's coming out, and tell them once it's out. And once it's out, either give them a direct link to the catch-up on ITV, or, as you've said, just chop it and send them.
It's miles better. We'll get the footage, get it in your reel. Literally, I mean, this is what I do. When a show is aired, I will get it the next day. There are ways and means to do that. Get it on your reel literally the next day. Get it out there. Because whilst it's fresh, you have that currency. It just makes you more, I don't know, sort of like, it's a word, like commercially viable, or like just more attractive to casting directors, where you're like, look, it's working now. Current, right? Come on, let's go. So yeah, you must do that. Get that edited into your reel, mate.
And it means I can do another round of casting director emails, so not just Hollyoaks and Emmerdale and Doctors and things like that, but I can go around to the other ones and say, look, I emailed you late last year asking for my first TV role. Had it now. Here it is.
Yep.
Have you got anything similar coming up? Or and just re-go over the email structure that you put down in First TV Fast Track, and just change it accordingly, and just send it out to everyone.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I've made that. After First TV Fast Track, I did email everybody on our list, even if I hadn't spoken to him before. It's like here's an introduction, here's me. And the words of Sophie Holland always ring in my head. Is like, it's our job to find new talent. It's your job to make us aware of you. So that's exactly what I'm going to do going forward with that now.
Yeah, and again, I just love what Andy Morgan said. We mentioned his session before, when he said, we are only as good as casting directors. We are only as good as the actors that we know. And I'm like, look, why if you're watching this, or you're in that position where Petch was, where you're like, if I'm not getting anywhere, I'm going to quit by the end of the year. How many, what action are you taking to make these casting directors actually know you exist? Yeah. Why are you sitting back and you're afraid and you're scared, and it's never going to happen unless you start taking action. If you hadn't have, put into practice, I could give you the blueprint, but I didn't do it for you.
No.
If you hadn't have put into practice all of these things, then the end of the year would have come around and you wouldn't have had that job. And then now, it could easily be by the end of this year, you're like, right, I'm out of the game now.
Yeah.
Sacking it off. I can't do it anymore. Now, this could be the job that ultimately, is the catalyst for the next 40 years of your career.
Yeah. I think in my own head, and as actors, we go in and out of these moods all the time, but I think in my own head at the moment, I'm settled in the fact that it's justified. I feel validated in the fact that somebody has given me an audition. I've proved that I can do the audition, and I'm going to work on set. That's the validation I needed to continue working forward. Whereas if I'd have continued auditioning, I think this year I hadn't had a self-tape. This is my first self-tape of the year.
Yep.
If I hadn't have even got an audition, it's like, well, self-detrimenting in that case, isn't it? It's like, I'm not even getting auditions. So how am I going to get on set if I'm not getting the auditions? Isn't it
interesting though? Because I remember, because me and Petch will read in for each other. I remember periods of your career over the last 2 years where you've been inundated with self-tapes, and for really, really big shows as well, and big stuff. But it's funny how you suddenly, obviously you didn't land any of those, but you forget all that, and I'm guilty of that sometimes as well. I'm like, God, really, do with some more auditions. It's like, well, actually, you know what? You've had 3 takes recently. It's your fault, Ross. You didn't get any of them. You should have been better. I take full responsibility. Obviously, I just do my best. We don't always get them. But yeah, if you're not careful, you kind of forget sometimes the progress you've made.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you feel like you're just starting again almost, or like nothing's working. But it was for you. It was just always about, consistency. And then, consistency is probably the main thing. It's like, because like you said 100%. Before, you'd have a little blast of something for a couple of weeks, get despondent, not feel like you're getting anywhere, and then you stop doing it completely. And then it's just about taking more action.
Your question earlier is like, what would I say to anybody who was kind of in the position who might be going through the same position that I was in? It is consistency. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Just keep putting yourself out there and find different ways to make it work. There's more than one way to get an audition. There's more than one way to meet a casting director or a director. Just if one thing isn't working for you, try something else. I mean, that's what I did. And network is key.
Yeah, absolutely. Just you've got to make those people know you exist. And unless you're sending stuff out and you're sending relevant stuff out that is showing you, in the casting type that you fit into, and it's showing you playing to those strengths, you're doing yourself a disservice. I think when you embrace all that and you really play to your strengths and you say, listen, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to embrace and be, and I'm going to get employed for this, as opposed to playing against my type to kind of prove I can act in some crazy way before I've even had a TV job. You make it much harder for yourself. So yeah, it's amazing, man. And
don't do things that are going to hurt or upset you as well. Like with the whole COVID thing, everyone was doing the competitions, the flare box and the do or die ones. And if that works for you, absolutely fine, do it. Yeah, it's a great way to keep up your self-tape game, and it's a good way to get people to see you and things like that. But I entered 1 or 2, didn't get anywhere, and it just hurt me. I was like, well, if I'm not even good enough to win one of these competitions, why would anybody want me on set? So I stopped doing that, and then I got jealous of people like Lawrence on Act on This, and the guy Johnny who does all his stuff as well. It's like, well, why can't I do anything like that? Then I got upset. So you've just got to do what works for you and what makes you happy in the long run.
Yeah, not try to emulate other people, because I can see people, going, oh, well, if this is popping on Twitter, this style of thing, then I'm going to do it. No, just sort of like, I think you are right. Still, you've got to put your own style of stuff out there, and you've got to be consistent, but it's got to be you, authentically you.
And if you're not you, who are you?
Who are you? Exactly. What was that Dr. Zeus quote? What was that? There's no one more you than, I don't know.
Today you are you. That is true. That is truer than true. There's no one alive who is youer than you.
There you go, Petch. Excellent. There's no one alive who is youer than you. So yeah, embrace that. That's awesome, man. And then obviously we're here to just fly the flag a little bit for Acts on This. As a community, the Acts on This membership and, First of All Fast Track. If there are actors out there, like, why should they get involved, Petch? I mean, I talk about this all day, every day. I think if you're an actor and you are not getting involved in this community, I mean, honestly, I'm happy to say this. I feel you are hurting your career by not being involved in what we are doing as a community. You've put yourself through it. Although you now work for the community, you put yourself through this program. You've landed your first TV job. What would you say to people who are on the fence about going, oh, should I get involved? Is it all right? Is it good? What are you saying?
I say
don't feel pressure.
No, because there's no pressure at all. There's no pressure at all. I would not have joined up after my first year free if I didn't think it was valuable enough. I wouldn't still be wanting to be a member and an employee if I didn't think it was valuable enough. I've seen what it's done to countless members. And yeah, there was a time in my own head where I was like, but it's not going to work for me. You just got to stick with it. And if you take the action that is being given by all the guests that we have on, then it will work. It may take a while. And it was Emma, who was it? Was it Emma Stafford who said, what is meant for you will not pass by you. And it's true. Like you're on your own trajectory. You're running your own race. You're not running against anybody else, even though you feel like it all the time. And you see tweets of people doing X amount of self-tapes. You don't know what those self-tapes are for. Yep. They're not necessarily massive TV or films. It could be for a Mandy job just round the corner, which I'm not belittling that, but in your own head, you make things bigger than they actually are. But just know who you are, settle into you, know what you can do, where you fit into the industry, because there is a place for you. And don't try and be anyone else, because there's already somebody else. You'll be a second-rate version of them. You are a first-rate version of yourself. So take your time, listen to all the podcasts, interviews, webinars that you've done, that we've done, and this is what happened with me, I think, right at the beginning of the career. I was trying to take on all the information.
Yeah.
And trying to act on all of it, and you get overwhelmed. If one thing just hits you right, and that's the thing that you take away from it, implement that going forward. And then these webinars are always going to be there. You can always go back, like I've done with this. I've gone back and I remembered that someone said something about that and someone has said something about that. So I can go back and rewatch it. But just take what you can in the one webinar that you watch and implement that going forward. And it's going to make a drastic difference to your career. It really will.
Yeah, definitely one step at a time. No, I completely agree with that. A lot of people want to change everything about their career all at once. It's like actually find one thing, like make that 1 degree shift that we talk about a lot. What's the one thing that you can do consistently over the next 30 days that will add up into, like take you to a much far, far different destination than you were headed to had you not taken that action. And it's called Act on This because we want you to act on this advice and all of the stuff that the guests bring to the table. If you just, it's not called sit and watch this and do nothing. You have to act on all of this stuff. So Petch, congrats, mate. It's wicked.
Thank you.
When is it? 30th of June?
30th of June it airs, yeah.
So if you're watching this before the 30th of June, then definitely keep an eye out for Petch on Coronation Street. We'll look forward to you posting the scene in the Act on This community, mate, and in the Facebook group and that sort of stuff when it comes out. And yeah, if you come and get involved in the community, grab a membership to Act on This if you want to try this stuff out. Grab just a month, see what you think of it. I promise you will be like, my God, how many people do we get in the Facebook group, Petch, saying, oh my God, don't know why I resisted so long. Wish I'd have joined years ago.
And Twitter as well. Every time I scroll on Twitter now, I see another actor who I've never even heard of saying, just caught Act on This. It's changed my life. This webinar was brilliant. And it's fantastic. And it's nice to see that different webinars affect different people differently.
Yeah.
Like there isn't one go-to webinar, which is the be all and end all. Some people prefer Babu's. Some people prefer Danny Miller's. Some people prefer Mickey Jones. And it's just amazing. It really is.
Nice one, man. Well, cheers for saying that. You've still got your job. And
do I get a pay rise now?
Yeah, definitely not. And yeah, coming. If you want to find out about First TV or Fast Track, I'm bringing it back in July 2021. Whenever you are watching this video, if you're watching it before July 2021, I think if you go to actonthis.tv /training, actonthis.tv /training, there will be a free training that I'm putting on before I launch this program where we're going to go into some detail on what's in the full course. So you can come and get some free training. And then if you want to go on to do the full program, that's going to launch in July 2021. If you're watching this miles down the line, you stumbled across it randomly on the internet, just drop me an email, ross@actonthis.tv, ross@actonthis.tv, and I will send you details about when this is available again. But I'm going to do it regularly. We're going to launch it we've got to do it maybe once, if not twice a year, just because of the impact that it's having on people. I wanted to take that test group of people through it. And now so many people have booked their first TV jobs, and particularly you, because I know we can go into great detail working together because of, you being a part of the Act on This team. We can put some specific trainings together now based on your experience. We'll do that, at least a couple of times a year, just because I want so many people in this community working, man. It's not,
and it does, it works.
Hard,
the information that you give works. And I want to just say, you may not get your first TV role straight away, but what will happen is you will start getting auditions.
Yeah.
And it's that, you can only get us so far.
I can't do the audition for you.
You can't do the audition for us. So, don't be despondent if you don't get your first TV role, within
2 days.
Yeah, exactly. Just see how it's affecting you on a whole and just watch the auditions start coming in.
Yeah, amazing. Nice one. Well, I hope you found this useful, folks. Drop a comment if you're watching this on social media and there's a comment section somewhere around this video. Drop a comment if you want any more information. I don't know where I'm going to post it, but yeah, let us know if we can help you with anything. And yeah, just actonthis.tv for more information of the community and what we do. Any parting words, Petch, before we say the catchphrase?
Just keep going. It is a race, but it's a race against yourself, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. I really was at the point where I wanted to give up this year. And like I said, I mentioned it to Ross, I mentioned it to a few close and personal people, that if I didn't get my first TV role, I was going to quit. And you just never know what's happening in the background. And it's that's changed my life. The connections that I've made, the workshops that I've been on, the information I've taken from Act on this, it's everything working together. It's not just one thing that will get you there. So it's the little keep plugging away.
The seeds you sow in all the time. If you sow enough of them, you can sort of rest assured that they're going to be growing and sprouting at some point whilst you're cracking on with this other thing that you're doing. You're spreading more seeds. The ones that you planted 3 months ago are being watered somewhere, and they're going to, they could just pop up, at any moment. You go, oh my God, like, right, this opportunity's come up. And then you don't know what, literally we get off the Zoom call, Petch. You could get another call off Kate, some other casting director you wrote to a fefew months ago is like, right, now will you come and audition for this? Genuinely, you'd never know. Like, that's why, you should get excited about what's going on. Right. Well, Petch.
And find something outside of acting. Find something outside of acting that'll keep you happy as well. Because if you're not happy in your career, you're going to be unhappy everywhere else. So just keep happy.
Keep happy, definitely. Yeah, no, I agree. You've got to have something else that's not just completely your self-worth and everything is tied to this industry. You've got to find something else that fills you up with some fulfillment as well. Thanks for being here, folks. I'll do more of these member spotlights very, very soon. We've done, I think this is the third one, but if you are a member and you're watching this and you've just got your first CV credit, reach out, let me know. I want to bring you on for a chat as well. Petch, get back to work. Thanks for being here. Until next time, you know what time it is. In 3, 2, 1.
Bye for now.